That's quite ironic. Man. Yeah, it is. I want to bring this out too, Pastor, on the other end of the spectrum, for those who are pro-vaccination, and a lot of people are pro-vaccination because of the horrific effects that they've either seen or experienced from the COVID-19. Now, the one thing we have to really realize is COVID-19 is real. A lot of people say it's fake, but it's real.
Yeah.
And it is affecting people, and it is killing people. And I see Pastor Charles, and I believe this might be Pastor Charles Helton, is saying that clotting factors to COVID-19 lead to embolus in the body. It causes your blood to clot. The effects of COVID-19 causes your blood to clot, which causes blood clots, which could lead to an embolism.
Yes.
That don't know that means that travels into your heart, into your lungs, and then when it cannot pass, it explodes, and it causes vessels to explode. And that's a very serious thing. That could almost kill you instantly if it happens in a certain area of your body. You could, and as well as pneumonia. COVID-19 causes pneumonia, which takes most people out. So, in your investigation and in your research on these, whether you're pro or con, I encourage all people to get the information. Now, what Bishop brought back is very good information on what the doctors are saying.
Right.
And what they are doing. And it's no mistake that, they wanted to start in Africa, immunizing people in Africa. They always wanted a guinea pig, before they see it, how good it is or whether it works for one person or not. Kind of like the Tuskegee experiment. Tell us a little bit about that for those people that don't know what happened down in Tuskegee with black men.
And absolutely, and we've been talking about that they went in the name of to do a vaccination to help people be healthier.
Mm-hmm.
They went in with that, and they did not even give them the information that we're also going to shoot you up with syphilis. And so we can see how to treat the syphilis. And because of that, men went blind, what we call the mad cow disease.
Right.
Brain damage. The men that had slept with their wives passed it on to their wives. Also, it produced, again, sterilization. They became sterile. You could not produce children. And so, and you want to know why, we're not trustworthy. Well, that's exactly, what took place at that time. Now, you talked about them wanting to do it in Africa. That was brought up in a seminar, as well as the blood clotting. They also talked about that it does clot the blood, and they know that, but they didn't share the information. That's another thing that the doctors talked about. A lot of the adverse effects or a lot of the negative results was not shared with us when you're taking this vaccination.
Is there a place where we could go to get the information that is available on what the adverse reactions are and the side effects to the vaccines that they're given now? Because that information has to be available somewhere to the public where we can find out exactly what the symptoms are in case you experience some. I believe.
And there is absolutely websites, and I'm sorry I don't have that information in front of me, but we will get all that information so it can be posted on Ask the Pastors. So the Ask the Pastors will be able to make sure that you are able to disseminate that information, disseminate it to people that are interested in that to do the study. There is just tons and tons and tons and tons of study that has been done through, but make sure you Google urban health.
Okay.
Just Google urban health global. Urban health global.
Urban health global.
Yeah. And I think I'm pronouncing that right. But It's urban health, without a doubt, and it's global. And all that information will be on their website.
Okay, we just had a very interesting statement come up from Obad Johnson. Uh, is making a proclamation here that says the military does not have to take it at all. That's something interesting too. Anytime you are government property, and I remember when I went in the Navy, uh, and we got to boot camp, Great Lakes, Illinois, boot camp for the Navy. I remember they had those big inoculation guns, and they had us on the line, and you just went down the line, and you got a shot in this arm, a shot in this arm, a shot in this arm, a shot in this arm. Then you got two in your butt, and that if you didn't exercise the next day, it was called bicillin. That was a double penicillin shot, supposed to kill anything. And I remember, this is the God honest truth. I remember cats just coming down the line passing out. They get 2 or 3 shots and they hit the floor and they just next. So I'm saying that to say that they're not even requiring the military to take this COVID-19 vaccination. Now, if that is true, and I'm saying that, I'm just relaying that information because it's been put on the Facebook page. If that is true, that's something to take into consideration, because when you sign on the dotted line, you are government property. And if they say you need to take XYZ, you're going to take XYZ because, for a certain period of time, you have literally signed yourself over to another entity. So that's very interesting that the military doesn't have to take this COVID-19 vaccine.
And the next thing is, my question is why?
Yeah, they live in close quarters, man.
Come on.
I remember being in the barracks, man, with 60 guys sleeping, one on top of another. Not to say when I got to the fleet, we were sleeping in where you had to roll into bed and roll out of bed because they were stacked 4 high to the ceiling, and the ceiling was only maybe 7 feet. So you got 4 guys sleeping in a 7-foot thing, 7 by 6. So I'm just saying that to say that that the military has that much control over you when you go in. That the fact that they're not mandating that military take this vaccine is very interesting. It's very, very interesting. Pastor, let's talk about Revelations. How does this tie into the Christian community? And how does this tie into eschatology? We touched a little bit on it. Revelation chapter 13, 16, and 17, I think is what's written here.
Yeah, it's important. And I think you said it a little bit earlier. When you see these kind of things, look up, your redemption draws nigh. Mm-hmm. There was things that we know that Yeshua showed John on Patmos. And, of course, we mean Revelation simply means revealed. Right. 2,000 years ago, this was written. I am in awe of, I think we're living in the greatest time in the world. That we are actually living at the time of the rapture of the church. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I believe in the Feast of the Tabernacles after we reign with Christ 1,000 years, the end of the world. But I believe that we are right now at the rapture of the church. It could be at any time. I believe all hell's going to break loose because when we get into Daniel 8, Daniel 10, when we get into the 7-year tribulation period, all hell has to break loose before there's 3.5 years of peace, right? All hell has to break loose. So now we see the saints of God that are saying that we will not take that vaccine. We will not bow down, and the church will be attacked. The church will be attacked. So the first one attacked that will not bow down to buy, sell, or trade will be us. If you don't line up, if it's mandatory, who's going to be attacked first? The Christian. It's going to be the Christian. Amen. So when we look at that Revelation chapter 13, it is being fulfilled in our very face. The fact of the matter is, we don't need cash anymore. We don't need credit cards anymore. How many folks still write checks? How many people? A checkbook is like a VCR. A check was like a cassette tape. They don't write. People don't write checks.
That's right. Amen.
Everything is instantaneous. It's Cash App. It's Venmo. It's instantaneously. We're living in that instant world. And so, beep, beep. You got the mark, and you can buy, sell, and trade. We can wake up tomorrow, Pastor Whitmore, and we cannot buy, sell, or trade, and that is the mark of the beast. That is Revelations 13. We are in the middle